Alrighty, hey guys, Funny Guy Timmy here for a really big shootout video for you guys. I've debated on when to do this video. I don't know why I didn't get to it sooner. Probably because it's such a complicated setup and it's a lot of mics. So today I wanted to do a shootout with all of the small diaphragm microphones that I own. Not dynamic, not large diaphragm, small diaphragms. And yes, I've even included the Audio-Technica 87.5R. Mostly just because it's kind of a standard on this channel, so why not? These are all very small microphones. I think all but the Audio-Technica 87.5R, I think they're all cardioid. This one might be super cardioid, but I'm not positive. But they're all basically the same size. They're all roughly the same price, more or less. I think this one's the most inexpensive on the list. These ones, if you get them by themselves, they come in a pair. If you get them by themselves, they are less expensive, but you pretty much have to buy them in a pair. And then this one's the most expensive, this one's the least expensive. I'll probably post the price of each individual microphone as I switch to them. So here's the Audio-Technica one. That's the price of the Audio-Technica 87.5R. I'm not going to talk too much about the microphones because I have longer videos where I go down each individual microphone. So basically all we're going to be doing here is talking a little bit about them, why I like ones like some more than others, and how I use them and when I would use them. And then pretty much just go down the list, let you listen to the silence. And again, I'm doing this all in my voiceover studio, voiceover space, because I don't want any reverberation, I don't want any background noise, and I am using the same pop filter on all of them. The pop filter is like a $20 pop filter, so it's really easy to get a hold of. It's a pretty standard pop filter. I'm not going to be using any of these little foam covers, even though I really want to. I like the foam covers on a couple of these. But we're going to be using this one pop filter. I'm going to move it down the line. So, obviously, first one that we have, and you're listening to right now. Now, I don't have enough XLR cables and enough channels on my mixer to plug them all up. And I think some of the XLR cables that I have are kind of cheaper or wearing out. So, if I was to plug them all up using different XLR cables, it wouldn't be a fair test because it would all basically, some of them might be hooked up to a cheaper cable and therefore would give you less of an accurate representation of the mic versus other mics. So that's why I'm going to be switching between them. Also, it'd be confusing to just have like all the noises, just a cacophony of microphones. So the Audio-Technica, the reason I like the Audio-Technica is because it's a shotgun mic. It's a small shotgun mic, but it is a shotgun mic. And so it's a lot more directional than these ones. These ones, it basically picks up a good amount around the microphone, as well as to the side. This one, not so much to the side. It's mostly just very much on me. I've owned this mic for a while. I actually use this microphone when I'm recording audio on someone else who maybe has a higher pitched voice, like a female, and I'm traveling to a location to record that audio. I will use this microphone, mostly just because it's a little bit bassier and a little bit softer than a lot of these microphones, and you'll be listening to that in a second. So with someone with a little bit more of a sibilant voice, it gives a little bit more of a bassiness to it. Kind of brings out the lower tones. I don't use it as much because I kind of like, as much anymore, when I'm on the road and I do a voiceover on the road, I like using cardioid mics a little bit better. I kind of like using small diaphragm cardioid mics. I think it sounds better on my voice, and it's easier for me to treat a space for that kind of mic for a small diaphragm. Have you seen any of my other hotel voiceover space videos? If you're creating a makeshift booth inside of like a closet and you don't have anything like this, or there's no bass traps, there's no clothes in the corner, there's nothing like that, and all you're doing is putting up just something to kind of deaden the reverberation, you're still going to get kind of a boxy sound. And so using this microphone that has a little bit a softer, a little bit warmer tone and kind of focuses on the low end, it's going to sound even more boxy. So in that kind of situation, you would want to use a small diaphragm that is a little bit brighter, it's a little bit sharper, to kind of help balance out the recording space. So this is the Audio-Technica 87.5R. I think it's still like under $180. I don't know how much under, but again, the price is right there. So I'm going to give you some silence, and then we're going to move on to the next mic. Alrighty, so now let's go on to the MXL 991. All right, so now we have the MXL 991. Again, the settings are exactly the same. I'm not changing anything. All I'm doing is just plugging it in to a different microphone as we go down the line. I'm not changing the settings on the mixer. And I'm not going to be doing anything other than normalizing the entire audio of the video, not normalizing each individual microphone. So it's all going to be the same, and I'm not going to be doing any EQing or compression because I want you guys to know what these sound like without any of that. The better the mic sounds without EQing or compression or noise cleanup, the better it is going to be using EQ or compression or cleanup. So this actually, the MXL 991 is actually the microphone I use a lot on the road now. I actually like traveling with this microphone. I like taking it with me as well as this because it's a lot brighter of a microphone. Yes, it is quieter, and you do have to get closer, and you do have to speak a little louder, and you have to turn up the gain on it a little bit more. But in a boxy setting, like described before, hotel closet that you have to makeshift into some kind of recording space, it sounds better to me on my voice. That might not be the case for you, and I've said that multiple times, that just because a microphone sounds good on my voice doesn't mean it's going to sound good on your voice, which is why we're doing a shootout. Whichever mic you think sounds better is probably going to be the microphone for you. But, so, in a lot of the cases that I found myself trying to record audio in a hotel room when I'm out doing a comedy gig, that's the mic that I have been using more often than not. If I'm in a hotel and it doesn't really have a closet I can use, which is very rare, but if it doesn't really have a space that I can use, I will use the Audio-Technica 87.5R. Just because it's more directional and it is a shotgun mic. So it's not going to catch as much of the echo and as much of the reverberation. Because this one has a cardioid pattern, so it's going to pick up more on the side. But at the same time, you do have to get closer to it, and it's not as sensitive as the Audio-Technica 87.5R to me. So this one, I think, normally comes in a set with either two of the 991s or a set with the 991 and the 990, which is actually a really good buy. If you're not sure what microphone to get, or you need something that's within $100, this plus the 990 together, I think, is about $100. Again, the price to this will be right there, or somewhere in that area. That's a really good buy. You're getting a small diaphragm and a large diaphragm. Both of those mics are actually really, really good starter mics, and it gives you some variety to work with, depending on your situation, your recording space and setup. So it does give you something to work with, and it gives you some options. So if you're not sure what to get, you could do worse than that kit. So anyway, going to give you some silence, then we're moving on to the next mic. All right. One thing that I'd like to say before we go on to the next mic is I actually think that the MXL 991 actually has better self-noise, or a lower self-noise, than the Audio-Technica 87.5R. I know there's been a lot of people who've said that I've been getting those kinds of stats wrong, that it's not the microphone, it's the mixer or the preamp. But a microphone can generate noise. It depends if the capsule is really cheap or the wiring is not insulated or something like that, or there's a bad connection with the XLR cable, you can get noise in the microphone. And no microphone is perfect. Even on the best mixers, best preamps, you're still going to get some noise out of some mic. Just the better the mic, the better the preamp, the more manageable it is. So now let's move on to the ISK Little Gem. Alrighty, so now we have the ISK Little Gem. ISK Little Gem. Now this is actually one of my favorite sounding microphones in its entirety. I would say it sounds really, really good for, first of all, a microphone its size. Secondly, for a microphone with changeable capsules. And third, for a company that isn't really well known. It's very versatile. It comes with 3 capsules. I'm using the cardioid because I wanted them all to match, more or less. It does come with multiple capsules. I think it has a omnidirectional, which is horrible. I don't know what situation to use it for. I'm guessing music. I'm not a musician, so. And then I think it has a supercardioid or a harpocardioid pattern, but I've really only used its cardioid. I think it's the one that sounds the best, and I think it's the one that you'll be using the most. It is actually, this one I think also comes in a pair, like the Samson CO2 and the MXL 991. It does come with a pair, I believe, because I think when I got it, it actually had 2 microphones. They'll both come in this little pouch. Because I have the other one, like right here. At least I think I do. Shit, where is it? But I have the other one, and they both came together, if I remember rightly. So it should come as a pair, and I think that it's actually cheaper, less expensive than the MXL 991 and the Samson CO2. But I'm going to put the price right there for the set that you get. I don't know if you can buy it separately. I think it is intended to be bought as a pair, as a set. So I don't know. All of these microphones will be in the description. All the links will be down there. All the affiliate links will be down in the description. If you're interested in one of them, you can go buy it there. But of all the microphones that I've been sent for free to review, I think it's probably the best that I think I've ever reviewed. Now, I haven't tried out that many microphones, and I'm saying of the ones that I've been sent. Now, I've reviewed tons of microphones that I've bought on my own, but of the ones that have been sent, it's probably the best. I'm not positive. I'd have to go through my entire log, but of all the features, that is one of the best. So, now I'm going to give you some silence. And now we're going to move on to the next microphone. We're not cutting that. We're just leaving that in. Now we're going to move on to the next microphone, which is the ISK CM20. Alrighty, so now we are moving on to the last 2 microphones. So here we have the ISK, the CM20. This little guy right here. Now this one is, there's the price. I don't remember it off the top of my head. This one is the least expensive of all the microphones. And you can tell, you can hear it. It definitely sounds like the least expensive, which is not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily bad. Again, it depends on your voice and what you're using it for. Now, I can't really think of too many situations that I would be using this particular microphone. But I can tell you that I think it picks up less noise in the area. I think it picks up less room tone. I think it picks up less noise around it. And I think that's probably because it's less sensitive. It is a less expensive mic, and so it probably has a less sensitive capsule, which in this case probably works well for it. It actually probably benefits from having a less expensive capsule and being less sensitive. So I would say I'm not really sure if I would use this for voiceover. It's a lot bassier than it's a lot bassier than the Little Jim, and it might be bassier than the Audio-Technica 87.5R. But it's way less sensitive than both of them. It's less sensitive than the MXL 991, that's for sure. But it is the least expensive. So if you're needing a small diaphragm and you're in a space that's not well treated and you don't want to pick up all that much noise, this is probably a good starting mic. This is actually probably a good mic to use. This wouldn't be hard to EQ. This wouldn't be hard to set up in a very small space. One of the benefits of having a small diaphragm microphone is you don't have to have a large space. With a shotgun mic, like the Sennheiser MKH416, basically it takes up a lot more space, and you got to get a little bit further away from it. Not too far away, but you got to get a little bit further away from it. And there are some situations and some setups where you're not going to be able to back away that much, and you're not going to be able to get that much room, and you're going to be a little bit closer to the mic, and you're going to be a little bit, what I would say, intimate with the mic. So having a mic that's less sensitive and having a small diaphragm mic, you could benefit from that. Number one, you probably wouldn't have to have a full pop filter. You could probably just use one of these and then kind of speak at an angle across the mic and just be very careful of your plosives. That way you can basically record anywhere, which is why I take one of these when I do on the road stuff, and I have one of those microphones to use for in the hotel, because I do benefit from that kind of small setup. You can basically place them anywhere and they're less sensitive, but at the same time, they still sound good. So we're going to give you some silence, and then we're moving on to the last microphone. All right, so now let's move on to our very last Samson CO2. Alrighty, so now we have the Samson CO2, which is obviously a little bit more sensitive than the CM20. I think it also has, the capsule is actually interchangeable. I don't think that I have other capsules for it, but I do know that you can change the capsules, which is really, really good. Let me see. Yeah, no other capsules. This is the kind of box it comes in. And this, like I said before, is a set. So this one comes with another pair or set microphone. Twin microphone. Which, again, I think a lot of the purpose for these microphones is normally for instruments, that kind of stuff. It's not really intended for voice. But if it captures sound and it sounds really good, you can use it for your voice. There's really no reason you can't. Again, it all comes to what your voice sounds like, where you're recording, and then what your budget is. And basically, that would basically be those three deciding factors. I don't like using the Samson CO2 as much. I think I've used it for a couple video shoots. I think it's a totally fine overhead recording mic for like dialogue. I don't like using it for voiceover, just on my voice. It doesn't sound right. There's a little too much bass. It's a little too deep. It's a little too soft and warm. Maybe if I was trying to do like an audiobook and I wanted it to sound a little bit more soothing or slightly dreamy, with that kind of dreamy sound, it's kind of hard to describe, I might use this one because it does have that kind of warm sound to it. It's not really good for doing like character work, because character work, you want clarity in all of the syllables. You want to be able to hear all of the words, because sometimes you're going to be yelling, sometimes you're going to be whispering, sometimes you're going to be stuttering, so you want clarity across the board. But if you're doing audiobook and you're taking your time to read, and you know, you're being a little bit more patient, you're being a little bit more quiet and a little bit more, you know, paced and slower, this would probably be a good mic for that. I'm not too sure about commercial or any other kind of use like that. Audiobook, I think it'd be fine. Character work, probably not so much. But now we are going to give you some silence, and then I'm going to actually do a lineup of all of their silence together. Just kind of give you a comparison across the board. So here we go. Alrighty, so there you guys go. There are 5 small diaphragms, all 5 small diaphragm mics that I own. These are all different prices, different companies, different capsules, well, except for these two. These two are the same company, but they're all for different purposes. They have different sound. They have different levels of sensitivity. They have different pickup patterns. Well, not really. I mean, I think this one, it actually says like a supercardioid on it, but I think it's still a cardioid. I think in the manual it says cardioid, or online it says cardioid. So I don't know. It doesn't have any other capsules, and it sounds like a cardioid. So I'm just going to say these are cardioids, and this one is supercardioid or hypercardioid. Shotgun mic, small diaphragms, all basically the same. So anyway, again, all of the links to these microphones will be down in the description down below. This is kind of a longer video because, I mean, it's a lot of microphones, a lot to talk about. Again, different prices, different purposes, whichever mic you think sounds best and fits your budget and fits the recording space that you'd be in or the kind of recording that you'd be doing. Go for it. Check them out. Let me know down below which one you think sounds better to your ear. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't. Totally fine. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell for notifications. And until next time, peace. All right. All right. Alrighty. All right. All right. Alrighty. 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 All right.